Hey folks, it is the Nutty Knife Guy. Oh, can't get out to the war post. I tried, I was out there earlier today, and everybody in the neighborhood was mowing their lawn. Way too much background noise, and my allergies were going nuts because of all the grass clippings in the air, and it looked like I had been pepper sprayed. So, plan B, a karambit rant. Now the karambit's been kind of trendy in the knife world for a few years now, and there for a while everybody was on the karambit bandwagon. And I got on the karambit bandwagon for a while. Got a training karambit, played with it for a while, and found out that I like karambits. I've got 5 or 6 karambits in my collection now, and they are fun to play around with. Would never carry one EDC for a lot of reasons, but they're cool to have in a collection. But there are people out there that might want to carry a karambit, and I know a few that do. They carry a karambit EDC for personal protection. Some of them are good, but a lot of them have a big problem. And the problem with that is, I'm going to make a little adjustment here. The problem with that is that when all the different knife companies, and I'm talking the companies like Lemtech at the low end of the spectrum, and even some of the higher end spectrum, and I don't know, I don't have any real high end karambits, but I looked at a few online, bench made in Ontario and everything like that. Seem to be laboring under the misconception that all of the karambit is a hawkbill knife with a ring on the pommel, and you hold it like this with your pinky in the ring. And that's not the way a karambit works. You hold it in reverse grip with your pinky in the ring so you can do extensions like so. You can flip it back, maybe hook up underneath an armpit or lower down, or draw it across the throat if you're fighting lizardmen, zombie ninjas. It is a fighting knife, and it is meant to be used in the reverse grip. It is not. And listen to me carefully, knife makers. It is not a hawkbill knife with a ring on the end. It is a karambit. Now, this is an Lemtech karambit that I recently acquired. Nothing to write home about. The blade is decent. I mean, it's Lemtech, so it's not going to be, the bestest steel ever or anything like that. But for me, it's a fun toy. I haven't tested this yet. I will, weather and time permitting, and lawn mowing. But the knife itself, I think you could rely on for most personal protection situations, as near as I can tell. I'm a little worried about the point snapping or bending, but we will decide that at the war post at another time. The problem with this thing is the way the sheath is configured. Because if you're right-handed, it goes on your belt like this, with the ring facing backward. So if it's on your belt like so, you wind up having to draw it like this. Part of your palm is actually on the blade. You cannot use the ring for anything, and you cannot really use this knife to effectively protect yourself. If you were wearing this knife and you were wearing it as a personal protection implement, and you were wearing it on your right side with the sheath this way, you would have to draw the knife, somehow flip it around in your hand without dropping it, because remember, you're under stress, you're shaking, your hands are probably slippery, right? And since you're using this to protect yourself, there is somebody out there trying to do you serious harm or kill you, and you're trying to get this knife in a position so you can use it. Now, I haven't tried it yet, I suppose this thing kind of goes like this. It's not attached to 4 points. So I suppose you could put your belt through the loop, and then maybe stick this down your pants like it's an inside the waistband gun holster, and wear it that way. I'm going to try that when I get around to testing it, but the point of it is you shouldn't have to jury rig it like that. Most people are right-handed, so this should be configured out of the box so a right-handed person could draw it and get it to action very quickly without having to fiddle around with it any. And I found that this is a common problem with karambits. Now, I have a folding karambit here. This is a Smith & Wesson. I believe this is from their Extreme Ops line. And I actually like this knife a lot. It feels good. It's a big, beefy folder. It's got a nice smooth action. The thing is this. It is tip down only. The pocket clip is not reversible for either left right-handed or right-handed or tip up, tip down. You must carry it like so, with the ring in your pocket. So if you're carrying this as a personal protection knife or anything like that, and this is not a utility knife, it's a karambit, it's a fighting knife. You'd have to pull it up out of your pocket like this, open it, and then somehow get it around so you can use it like a karambit. And yes, you could just use it like so, like it's a big hawkbill. But why are you if you bought a karambit, you wanted a karambit, right? You didn't want a hawkbill. You can go out and buy a hawkbill. I've got a hawkbill in my collection that doesn't have the ring. It's a hawkbill. That's fine. This is a karambit. Now, think about this in the context of trying to protect your life with it. Most guys, like law-abiding citizens, we're not going to go out and look to get into a life or death struggle. We try to avoid that. If we're carrying one of these, we want to be prepared in the eventuality that happens. But we just want to go get our groceries, pump some gas, come home, right? We carry one of these in case there's somebody out there that doesn't intend to let us do that. So consider what you would have to do. This is in your pocket like so. Tip down, this is in your pocket. You're grabbing this little piece here. It's sticking out of your pocket. Pulling it up out of the clip so it'll come out something like this. Now, you either have to use the thumb stud to open it, which is fine motor skill, and bear in mind, at this point, so you're getting your knife out to protect yourself with it, there is someone either in the process of doing you harm or about to start doing you harm. So your fine motor skills are done. Your adrenaline is gone and your hand is shaking, and maybe you're using your offhand to fend something off, or you're backpedaling to trying to get away, whatever. And you're trying to find this thumb with, and then, or you're forced to take your weekend off defensive duty to get it open with your free hand, because finding the stud is going to be hard under these conditions. And then after all of that, you've got it out. Now chances are at this point with this particular knife, the way it's configured, you're going to be using it like a hawkbill, because when you're under pressure and you're fighting with people and you're scared to death, if you're going to use it like a karambit, you're going to have to find a way to go from here to here. And chances are you're not going to be able to do this little flip again when someone's punching you or swinging a tire around at your head or trying to stab you. Oh, I touched my face. The virus people are going to come and get me. So what's happened here, I think, is when these companies got on the Karambit bandwagon, they design knives, they design these karambits, and either didn't understand how a karambit is used at all, or didn't care because they just wanted to get a karambit on the market. Now, M-Tech, that's not a great big surprise. M-Tech has a lot of novelty knives. They have a lot of knives that look really cool, and they are for the people that's what they want in a knife. They're looking at, does it look cool? You know, it's, you know, a lot of, and even though I kind of like M-Techs, I don't rag on M-Techs too much. You wouldn't see me carrying an M-Tech EDC and betting my life on it, but as a collector, I kind of like them. And most of the time, you would be able to use them for camping or, you know, opening boxes and stuff like that. They do just fine. But they do specialize in the kind of knives that, you know, your teenager is, you know, kind of locked in his bedroom with his buddies, and they're all smoking joints, hoping mom and dad don't come home with them, and catch him. And he shows them his cool new M-Tech knife because it looks cool. You know, maybe it's a zombie killer knife or something. So I can understand a little bit with M-Tech. They're not really expecting somebody to be carrying this as a personal protection tool. But the thing is this, somebody might want to. And this one isn't really flashy. This one actually looks tactical, or as what really is tacti cool, as in looks cool. So now, if you're a lefty, this is fine. Put it on the left side of your belt. You're ready to go. But not everybody is a lefty. And with this one, even if you're a lefty, you're not doing any good, because you still have to get it out, get the knife open, and get it lowered like this. And you expect a little bit more from a Smith & Wesson knife. Now, Smith & Wesson really doesn't make these; they just put their name on it. I believe this one is a Meyerco brand that makes it. But now, the thing of it is, the Smith & Wesson Extreme Ops line, and I'm not sure this is an Extreme Ops. It's a Smith & Wesson knife, but I'm not as sure it's an Extreme Ops knife. But they do market this as a tactical knife. And this one, once you got it out, I think it would be fine. This is a very nice. This is a very well-made knife for the money. This is running about $30, I think. But the thing is this: you can't use it like a karambit unless you have all the time in the world to get it out and deploy. And if you've got that kind of time in a civilian context of a civilian carrying this in a personal protection role, if you've got the kind of time where you can get this out of your pocket and get it open and get it flipped around, you probably have enough time to get out of Dodge, unless you're gimpy like me and can't run, right? And if you're a law enforcement or military, if you have enough time to do that, then you probably don't need the knife at that moment. Because if you're down to this as a police or military, it means you're already in a close encounter. Somebody is within arm's reach trying to kill you. You can't get any of your other weapons, and you're getting this out to get him off of you so you can get to your other weapons, which means you've got to get this thing out quick. You're not going to have 30 or 40 seconds, or even 10 or 12 seconds, to get it out of your pocket, get it open, and get it around so you can use it like a karambit. I don't have it out, but I have Karambit from the Combat Ready brand. And again, that's a budget brand, but the knife itself is pretty good. Its sheath is a little bit better designed than this, but it still has problems of using it like a karambit. At least the clip is on the right side, and you can pull it out, but the clip is a little iffy, and it's very stiff, so sometimes you pop it out of there, and the sheath comes off with the knife. Now that could happen with any kind of knife, but with a karambit, also with a karambit. But at least Combat Ready gets the idea that you're going to have to deploy that knife and use it like a karambit. Now, if I was going to carry the M-Tech, what I'd probably do is that I'd just pry the loop off of here and use some zip ties and put it on a tech lock, and problem solved. There's a lot of reasons I wouldn't carry a Karambit EDC for personal protection knife. Most of them are legal. Even if you were completely justified in using this to protect yourself, you get sued or you get arrested and you have to go to court and explain this to a jury full of non-knife people. It probably wouldn't go very well. But think of this, and this is kind of an open letter, a plea, an entreaty to knife makers. If you're going to make karambits, understand how they are used. They are used in the reverse grip. They have to be comfortable to do the extensions and to bring back. They are not just hawkbill knives with a ring on the pommel. Now, as I said, MTech, you can excuse MTech. They're a novelty knife company that occasionally gets a real good hit that can be used. I've got a couple of them, like I said. I'm not going to rag on MTech, but you expect that kind of thing from MTech because their clientele usually aren't knife people. The people that buy MTech might only buy one or two MTechs just for the gee whiz factor, the way they look, or they're, something like them was seen in the latest video game or movie or whatever. But the Smith & Wessons of the world and what's the other one? I think it's a Schrade, don't quote me, but Schrade makes one. I'm not sure it's Schrade, but there's another one out there. Oh, my phone's ringing. Somebody else should get it. But I'm going to pause you for just a second, I think. Wait a second. I'm just going to wait to see if somebody yells for me to get the phone. Because I really don't want to have to splice all of this together. Anyway, if they yell at me, they yell at me. No, it was not Schrade. I have a SOG Karambit. Now, on the face of it, that sheath was really, really cool. It was an adjustable can, 360. You clipped it onto your belt, and you could adjust the can any way you wanted. But it turned out the sheath was really crappy, and it broke on me when I was carrying it in like 3 days. And I sent for another one, and they sent me another one for free, but that one also broke. It was just cheap. It wasn't any good. But the problem with that Karambit is, and I should have got it out. I should have brought it over here. It was extraordinarily thin. And when you did extensions, there was no way to get decent purchase with your thumb and forefinger on the extension. So it wobbled like this. And designed that way, I just think that whoever had designed it and put it into production said, okay, we got to get a Karambit on the market, and did not really understand how they're used. And that's my biggest thing. These knife makers don't just look at something that's trendy and it's on TV everywhere, and everybody wants one because it's on Video Game X. If you're going to put a knife out that people might be trying to protect themselves with, understand how that style of knife is used and design it so it can be used that way. In the SOG's case, it had G10 scales on it. All you would have to do to make that comfortable and useful is extend the G10 scales all the way up and around that ring. Right? In this case, all they need to do is make the pocket clip so they can adjust it and carry it ring up. And right hand, left hand never hurts. Folding knives, I think all folding knives should have the right hand, left hand adjustable. Right, and they could perhaps put a stud or other kind of opening device so it could be flipped open with this finger, so when it was here, if it's closed like this, if you could flip it open with the index, get your thumb in here and flip it open with the index finger, then it would be viable. And it wouldn't really cost all that much more, I don't think, to do that. So that was something that was been bothering me with a lot of Karambits. You look at them I look at them online, and I can see where either the sheath is in is configured wrong, or they're they have really rough edges. Another thing I've seen around a lot of karambits, commercially karambits that I've seen that they like buddies and stuff had, or just on the internet, is the inside of the rings are like really sharp, and you start doing these extensions, and they start sawing your friggin' finger off. No, well, not really, but they'll cut into your finger. So, folks, I mean, karambits are still trendy. You know, they're kind of the bad guy knife of the 90s, and a lot of people are buying karambits because they can be devastating if you know even a little bit what you're doing. But there's so much, they're not configured about deployment. Nobody takes any notice of how a karambit has to be carried and deployed in order to be effective in time to be of value in a personal protection situation. So, that's all there is. Sorry for that gap. I didn't know whether they were going to yell at me to answer the phone. But I'm not going to edit it out. I am really going to try to get out and do a full review and test of what is probably going to be my fixed blade EDC for the foreseeable future. This is an Orla OXL004, if I remember correctly. When I actually do the video, I'll let you know. I haven't tested it yet, so if it fails the test, needless to say, it's not going to be my EDC, but I don't expect it to. This is really nice. It's got a nice point. It's really well done 420 steel, but again, I'll tell you that later. But I will be doing a test on the Orla. Like I said, I think it's OXL004. It's got some good things. It's got one that was really bad thing about it that was fixable. I fixed it already, but still. With that, I will leave you with my normal plea to draw your knives only in just purpose. Sheathe them only with honor, and remember that without knives, life would be dull and pointless. I bid you goodbye, but please like, share, and subscribe. It makes me very happy. Good night. Good night. Goodbye. Good night. Bye. Goodbye night. Anyway, see ya.